We are now recording. This is Design 320. It's the lecture. It's Tuesday, April 27th, 1 o'clock, and we're live on Google Meet. And we're going over week 2 of Project 4, which is all about adding details and parts to your design. And what I call it is form, fit, and function. You've sort of got the form now. Now we have to fit the parts together and ensure that it functions. So form, fit, and function create engineering intent. And it's not an SLO that you have to know that. It's not required, but you should. You should know form, fit, and function define or create the engineering intent of a design. The form is the shape, what it's made out of, where it sits, things like that. Fit is how it goes together with the things around it and how its parts go together in a way that ensures that it will function. All right, so that's what we're doing. Here's what we've got up. There is a playlist, week 14 playlist, and there's not much material on it yet. I'll add some more as we go. I suggest that you read the project requirements again and just make sure that your design is meeting them. Most of what I saw looked really good and looked like it was meeting the requirement. And so I made a couple of notes here and there, but overall, I really loved looking at your designs. It was pretty cool. A few people I gave options for what you might think of as you're doing the fit, how it will go together. But most people, I'll just let you kind of go along with what it is. There is a template for this week, which we'll look at in a moment. And there is a discussion board to do, and of course, your submittal. So let's go ahead, and I think I'm going to jump to the discussion board first. Let's see what's on the discussion board. So now you're going to do an explanation. Okay, you've been doing markups and you've been doing some changes to your pages. It's important. Your boss might someday go, well, tell me about that. And you hold it out to show them, which is a good thing to do. You always want to say, see here, see here, but they want to hear you too. They want to hear you. And so you're going to explain how you meet the requirements of a page. So reading some requirements and then understanding them, man, that's hard. And then base your presentation exactly towards the requirements. That is really, really hard to do. And so it takes a lot of practice to get good at it. So this is going to be some of your practice. And sometimes you find out that you really, I just sort of glossed over that word. I don't really know what it meant. So you might have to do some research. Or you might find that you know what it means, but not in the same way it's meant in this particular application. All right. So this is really what we're working on. And this is the crux of the matter. It's the hard stuff to do. It's what employers really look for, the skill and the ability to work and be able to do this. So you're going to get to practice this. So pick one of the last 5 presentations of your draft portfolio. Okay. Just pick one and then make a video recording of your screen while you explain each part of the SLO. So I want to see your screen, and you can move your cursor over it. I did a little thing. Let me see if I can figure out how I did that. I think it's in here somewhere. Change the mouse pointer. And I've got mine set somewhere in here. Show the location when I press the control key. That is really cool when you're doing a thing. And you can do other cursors that are round and this and that and the other thing. I personally like just being able to click, 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 click. And I made my cursor really big. I made it big. I think there's a size thing somewhere here too. Let's see. Trails, pointer, height. I don't know. Somewhere in here you can change the size of it. So that's kind of a cool thing that you might want to do when you do this. So show your screen, and then as you do your presentation, point at things. Show where you did that. Okay, so continue to record while you show and explain the specific part that you demonstrate. So you can use PowerPoint, you can use OBS, you can use Zoom. Some versions of Google Meet do this, but you might try Vimeo. So I was told that Vimeo works pretty well. I tried it, and it's pretty cool, and it's simple, and it works on a Google Chrome extension. So even if you have just a Chromebook, you'll be able to do it. So Vimeo is one. And, at this point, figure out a way to do it. I'm giving you a challenge. Figure out a way to do it. Just get online, start figuring it out. So do your best. Here are some suggestions. Write out each individual part of the requirement. Now, in my sample, I didn't do that. My sample I gave you is kind of higgledy-piggledy and all over the place. It's not very good. But write out each thing and then write a short explanation of what it means. Program requirements. That means the things that my design must do. Okay? And practice pointing at your work. Here it says, I must be made out of metal. Here's where it shows I'm made out of metal. Short, simple phrases that help you understand what you're doing. And then make a short series of notes that you can just have written down that you can refer to while you're doing your video. Practice it a few times and then make your video. There's no reply to do. And so here's one that I did that's not, you can look at it. It's kind of crummy, but it's okay. It's not bad. Okay. So here it is again. Okay. And what's cool is you can actually just paste it right in so people can see it. Okay. So that's your discussion board. Anybody have a question on that? That's kind of like, woo, cool. People want to see what you do. I want to see what you do. Okay, nobody's popping up with questions right now on that. So let's look at your submittal template. I think I've got it all right. Now, I made this yellow. Add this set of slides to the end of last week's submittal. Okay, remember how to do that? Shift, right click, copy. And then go to your other one, right click, paste. Okay, so what have we got going here? What are we about? Still doing a justified design solutions through multiple academic disciplines, including research, documentation, 3D graphics, and 2D. So we're really working. Last week was the research part. Now we're really focusing on the 3D graphics. Next week, we'll focus on the 2D documentation. This is typical. We've been doing this. So this is in present visualizations that include each component or part and connectors if they're discrete parts. If you're bolting things together or riveting or tying or something like that. Okay, so you want to see this where you can show individual parts, something that I could grab and put together. Like IKEA, you know what the thing looks like, but it comes in a box of separate parts. And so I want to see those separate parts identified. They don't have to be spread out, but you have to be able to point at something and go, this is a part. This is a, and I'm going to show you that today. Okay, you need to break your design down into components or different parts. So to do that, you're going to revise what you did last week to show the interior engineering intent. You've got the forms. Some of you were, I couldn't quite figure everything out, but you were close. When you do the fit right now, that's going to be important. And remember, you remember from mine, I had form and fit, but my fit didn't ensure that it functioned. So I'm going to do a little bit of work on it today and tomorrow to show you how to do that. But I have to be able to identify each piece. Okay, then down here, I'm going to give each part, I'm going to do the same thing, but I'm going to give each one of those parts a component number. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I'm going to put those into a table. And if I've got 2 legs that are the same, I'll say item number 1, there's 2 of them, and it's a leg. And if I'm going to bolt it together, I'm going to go 2, and I'm going to use 8 bolts. And then if I have that, I'd have to have 3 and 8 nuts. And if I had that, I'd have 4, and I have 16 washers. Washwords. Something like that. You're going to do something like, oh, that was wrong. Well, I guess I'm not doing that right. There we go. So this is sort of a list of materials. Each component is clearly identified. Here, you're just going to make sure that you've got everything broken into components and you can tell what they are. Now you're going to take one more step. This slide 2.1 will look a lot like this slide. Okay. But this one you might annotate. I'm going to weld this. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. Here, I'm going to have each one clearly identified. And here, I want to have basic dimensional information. Overall width, overall height, overall depth, thicknesses, some good basic dimensions, not the detailed dimensions for the parts, just kind of overall how big it is. And I don't know why that says fill out this table. There we go. So you got 3 sheets to work up, mostly made out of what you did before. And now, explain your design as if you were not going to make the detailed drawings. You're going to hand it to a colleague and they're going to make the detailed drawing. So you're just going to kind of explain it. Oh, here I've got a leg, and you'll point at it. Here I've got a leg, and it's welded to the back right over here. And when you make this, I want you to unwrap it so that it's flat and long and bend it here and here and here, and then weld the ends together. And then drill a bunch of holes in it before you do that, because I'm going to wrap wire back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. And those should be every half of an inch. Something like that. Just explain it. Use your words. Okay? And the reason you're doing this is it's the old adage. If you can explain it, you can do it. Okay? If you can explain it well, you'll be able to do it. So by doing this explanation as if you were telling somebody else how to do it, it will help you figure out how to do it. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4. And this is much the same as we did last time. Watch the lecture or be here. Watch the lecture or be here. And do your discussion board.